Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am very confused as to why that is so loud. That has changed in volume since the last we spoke. But I've adjusted it now, so hopefully it should be all well and good. I think they just turned down the volume after I've turned it down even more. Right, Alright, we're good. Didn't want to hurt your eardrums. It was certainly hurting mine, but any which way. We're into our third and final map here in our GG.Bet Winter Cup. We, of course, have the knife round playing out for the picking of the sides, and it does seem like Brute should be able to get the selection that they want. The CT side, the most likely of the two. So far, both of our series today, they've all ended up on a third map, a decider. And they've been really, really enjoyable games to witness on both sides of the coin. Even for our first matches of the day, sorry. Extremum fell short in the last two maps. Got pretty battered by the likes of Fate. But in this one, it's far closer. Even with Rocketlaunchers kind of sailing away towards the end of Dust 2. Also very tightly fought to start off that map, and I imagine much of that will remain the same throughout this third and final map. It's one that statistically Brute haven't won when they've had HLTV registered games. Rocketlaunchers have never played, so the documentation is not phenomenal. We'll see how they both perform. Brute, of course, start on the CT side of things. With one set of utility. Daxon is just doing laps. He's running around. He's having a good time. But I think he's been told he needs to go doing something else for the side of Brute. He's having a little too much fun. Two sets of utility for the side of Rocketlaunchers. They've got a couple of options that they can go for. Actually, a fair few. Most likely towards B. That's where we are seeing them group up. They could have also made some sort of a late round A site play. Now, this is what they are positioned to achieve. There is a kit available for the CT side should this hold not go so well, but Max will be given these opportunities. First shot going to be missed on the side of Brute. Crazy trying to duck and weave, fall into cover, but he's overrun by the Rocketlaunchers. And just like that, the B bomb site handily in their control. No damage done to any of their players as of yet either. While they may have that kit implemented, they simply do not have the numbers. First kill of the retake, and well, Capson wants nothing to do with it. Brute forced out of the bomb site. As Rocketlaunchers will keep every single one of their players alive, and getting good distance and keeping that armor healthy is important. Cade wished he didn't got tagged, because that means that... Actually, no, it doesn't mean anything, because he didn't have armor to begin with. Never mind, I was going to talk about the cost of armor and the implications, but there are none. It has been a long day here on the Starladder streams, both the English and Russian counterparts. We've had a few delays, but altogether it has been a very well-ran day, and we've been fortunate enough that the players, you the viewers, production staff, all taking a little time out to still enjoy Counter-Strike. Even during the festive season. And oh boy, have these games delivered. They really have. Even if it's not always the best of Counter-Strike, it is certainly entertaining. been a standard response for every one of the teams that we've had on tonight. The force buy after losing the pistol round, you know, and understand the reasons why. Since that money was changed, it has been heavily incentivized. Especially on maps where you want the AWP, where you want good utility. Inferno, the ultimate map for that. Oh, they go right through it. That's a dangerous game to play because these pistols are dangerous up close. Max, he gets away with 2. He's gotten away with murder. He has a Mac 10 as well. The damage is done. Brute have really caused a lot of problems here for the rocket launcher. Soaker is the one that can really bring things back. First kill found. Second, not quite so easily. 21 HP. 3 on deaths. His counterpart in this situation. And they need to find Sanctuary, use cover, trade efficiently. There's no kit available. They'll understand that that's likely the case, but AJT, he has to honor. He has to try and play for that situation. They get on the bomb. They should... this is gonna be close. I don't think they have it. They don't have it. AJT got in position on the bomb. He was waiting for his teammate to be suitably in position to cover him, but he didn't tap it. He didn't hold for the defuse in a timely enough fashion. That moment's hesitation could have been the difference between Brute stealing that round away and, well, Rocketlaunchers actually taking it. This is not a rerun. We are live. Name that I can't pronounce. Calio 906. And while it's not quite the force buy from Brute here in the 3rd round, one in which they've still been able to get some weaponry into their hands. Another tag from Caps, and he has been really impactful with this scout. He's been finding such consistent damage. It is certainly something to be worried about. Oh, Daxon playing with fire a little bit. Stretched his arms just to recover that scout. See if he's able to find some success. Another tag found. When a headshot over towards B, this becomes more and more troublesome. Deaths has to come out ahead here. The little jiggle peek, it's perfect, and Deaths completely knocks any sort of chance in the round out of the park. Max left alone with an SMG, and Soaker has him dead to rights. A 3rd for Rocketlaunchers. Thank you, Mango Dave. I appreciate that. I'm with you, Alex. I've been trying to channel some positive energy here in our holiday special. It's been special for some good and bad reasons. Hopefully we'll get a kind of mixed bag with this one. They're so... that roller coasters of emotion. Really what makes CS so capturing. Now that Brute are on proper weapons, sure they don't have the utility. That's because they went for that half buy in the previous round. They're trying to make it work still. The flash, it was well timed, but he thought about it a little too hard. Allowed that flash, the efficiency of it, to fade. That small decision to step back in towards cover costs him that duel. There's at least been damage done to rocket launchers. There's weakened opponents on the horizon. The problem is that the defenses are stretched thin. Brute have to make some kind of a gamble rotation, and they've done exactly that. The problem is they've done it a bit too soon. This presence towards A, it's all just a farce. Deaths is out by his lonesome, and when he's dealt with, that is it. Brute are on the completely wrong side of the map. The question becomes, do they go for it? They're so separated. They don't have a kit. They don't have a smoke. They don't have Molotovs. I'm sure these players are tagged down, but it's still a dangerous pursuit, and these players are lacking head armor, so M&K could get a lot of work done here. He gets both on the flank. Max cowering behind them, almost the triple for M&K, but he's done enough. Max found at the hands of Soaker, and Capson is just so removed from everything that's happening. The ult posted from so far back in CT spawn. Rocket launchers, it's another round under their belt. Just that moment's hesitation. He wasn't quite sure whether there was a player on the other side of the barrels. That's what the flash is primarily aimed for. Then when he didn't see anybody at the half full, just to overcommits a little too late. And oh no. Slow reactions from Capson. Had the angle dead to rights, and this is abuse. They know that they have a significant advantage in the weaponry department, especially when they got rid of the AWP presence. In fact, that kill from Deaths, straight through the mid-smoke, just ran straight at them. The only reason he makes that play is because he knows that Brute will have wanted to pick up that AWP. But this is a run-of-the-mill round for our T side. Our last third map that we had today. So our first best of three, it went all three maps. It was a blowout. I'm hoping that's not more of the same here in our second best of three, because that would make things incredibly anticlimactic, especially given how hard fought these first two maps were in the series. You know what? You're right. You're calling me out on the right things. It seemed a bit backseat gamerish. Speaker's advantage is a very, very real thing, and even more so online, so. While I say slow, really I just thought he had the kill, because he was holding the angle. Rocket launchers, they saw success with B-side pushes, and they continue to do so. Deaths. First kill found. The construction completely compromised, and well, just like that, the round is over because Sossel is so deep in CT spawn. Rocket launchers are not giving them room to breathe. The AWP, the M4, it's kept in their possession, but when you're losing your B-side defenders so rapidly, there's just no way in. You imagine a pause will be called by Brute. If not in the start of this next round. and at least the round immediately afterwards, because something in their CT game plan is really not working out. That first kill from Death. Wait, does he shoot him through the... Okay. His teammate spotted him, and he has the radar, the sound cues, his teammate fighting, all of that to work off of. But that's just... His teammate would have probably got the kill anyway. And he's just styling on them. Good flash in from Rocketlaunchers. They read the reaction from Brute to a T. And they know that bottom mid has been compromised too. HAT, I don't fancy your chances that you go by unchecked here. Especially with that gun prodding out a little bit. This is brutalization. The last two players are at least positioned to deal with Sosol on the approach. Max will spot them out. Capson shows his hand, but they're still just running at them. They know that Capson's here with the ult. First kill found. The flash. Relatively successful. The Capson could not reset in time. Surely a pause. There we go. I didn't even realize that this was a thing. I didn't realize that we'd gotten this far. We got a secret agent. It's an old trope, the cliche. But it's one that I see very few of. 007. You just had to say it, Miskin. This happened in our last decider our last best of 3, the decider map. You know, it was looking good for the 16-0, and I just told everybody, don't say it. And then somebody said it, and then immediately afterwards, it was like 9-1 or 10-1. I've never been more disappointed than chat. Upgraded pistols and SMGs. That's the name of the game for Brute. I will say I'm proud of chat today. We've been very civil. We had lots of people sort of wishing each other happy holidays in the chat earlier. It was a really good vibe. It was a good time. Okay. That's just in a different world right now. He's just loving life. He's running around like a deathmatch. Sure, it's pistols, but it just looks so easy. Well, that really is reflected in a lot of what Rocketlaunchers are doing to Brute. Ooh, crazy. Picks up a chicken along the way. If you're not looking for advice in CS and you want to know how to pick up chicks, he is your man. Right now things are looking dire. Oh, at least a nice little Kobe on towards the site. Soaker dealt with. Oh, another kill for Crazy. He was really popping off on Mirage with the Deagle. Let's see a few flashes of it there. But no, we're still in a very cruel reality in which they still have no CT side rounds. Like that's just so easy. They line up perfectly. They spotted out Daxon. It was just very run-of-the-mill, very standard procedure for him. M&K, first kill found on Capson. This is another full gun round here from Brute. Tagged through the wall. Nade damage done. It's all chipping away. It's grinding the spirits down of Brute. They'll want an opening pick, a clean one at that, just to get the mental game in focus. When you try to make adaptations, when you try to make changes, and it doesn't work. And that's when things go from bad to terrible. At least there's a kill from AJT's AWP, and Daxon has found one himself. Problem becomes that the B-bomb site is where they're headed, and these rotationary players are going to be far removed from the play. The smokes prevent the way in. There will be no contest on that side of the map, and the bomb has actually made its way over towards the A site. Instead, it's also really selling the fake, killing an additional player, keeps them honest, has to draw that anchor player over, and Sossol, he's still alive, and he stands in their path from saving these weapons because I think they realize that they've been completely duped and bamboozled. Max, oh no, he can't even line up the last frag. Sossol with 4. Rocket launchers are running away with it. And this is what I mean. You know, you make a few changes, you actually get a glimmer or like a good enough chance in a round. It's a 3-on-3. And then they pull something like that. And that can really, really hurt the spirit, the morale. When you're trying to bring this comeback to fruition. Of course, these players not unused to situations like this, but it can be a hard and a steep mountain to climb. It's also 1-for-1 exchange towards top banana shack, playing it patiently thus far, trying to go for a little bit more, and through the smoke he falls. A good advantage for Brute here in round number 10. Deal with one of the heavy hitters as well in Sossol. Pretty well equipped CT side hold towards the A site. There's 3 players in position. One of them the SMG, but this apartments drop is dangerous territory for these remaining T side players. Lurk smoke out. Breaking the glass as well to try and mask some of the noise being made, but they're wrapping through the arches. Daxon, he'll line up the first, the second as well on the spray. That is great from him. Death's trying to traverse terrain, but he cannot get to the bomb. He deals with another player. That's damage done to the economy of Brute, but they get their first on the board. But unfortunately, they don't get their hands on that AWP just at the end there. Good hold from Daxon to allow them to hold on to that site. And as soon as they meet strong enough resistance here from Brute, they call a timeout. Whether or not this is to legitimately talk about tactics, we'll never know. Most of the time, it's really just about halting and preventing momentum from building from your opponents. You know, you get fired up, you just win a round, and then, I have to wait 30 more seconds to actually get into the action. Also, just the idea that something could change for the rocket launchers. And the way that they've been approaching this. Maybe Brute have finally found the solution. And then rocket launchers change everything. So many facets. So many ideas that could be pulled through. Rocket launchers, they look to take the fight. Soaker, I think, is going to jump up. Oh, the timing is perfect. That's a great set play there from Rocket Launchers, but they just cannot get the kill. Max Molotov out into the open. Soaker there for the trade, but Crazy is there as well. They'll hold onto a man advantage momentarily. Shaq trying desperately to spray through, find that damage that was done onto Crazy, but the man advantage still held. Capson caught out by the high ground advantage from Deaths. A 3-on-3 kits available. A couple of them, in fact, for Brute. They set up for the retake. The utility's coming out. The team flash comes through, but Rocket Launcher should be able to lock this one out because the utility, it's dwindling down. The expiry date on those smokes is just around the corner, and Crazy, yeah, they pull the trigger on that retake far too late. Brute take one round and then lose the next. I am indeed Dukehurst, and I appreciate that. We're just trying to have a good time on Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate. As long as we're all having a good time and we're just enjoying some Counter-Strike, nothing more that I can ask for. People that aren't enjoying Counter-Strike right now, probably Brute. Their problems continue. HAT eliminated. Couple of players pushed towards bottom B, but a Molotov forces one out. The secondary player tries to support, tries to help. And he meets the same fate. Just how do you rotate off of this? What is the call? Because Rocket Launchers aren't making any sudden moves. They know this is a scrambled together buy, and they know that it's not the strongest of circumstances, and Sossol is just doing it all on his own. Running around the map. Bragging like nobody's business. You can see the frustration from Capson. He's looking in the air. The apartments, looking anywhere but at Deaths. And well, Rocket Launchers. It's hard to see a world in which this entire map really turns around. I like to remain optimistic, but this seems like one of those situations in which it is a complete mental checkout. Kill from Deaths, even while full blind. The change in pace from Brute, this time it works. In towards second middle is the success point. Daxon hugging his opposition. Sossol is left all alone in an instant. Crazy still looking for that information, finds out exactly where Sossol is located, but this is the most dangerous player on that Rocket Launchers team. He's been playing well. He cost them one more set of weapons. But Brute catch Rocket Launchers completely off guard. What other Plan Z type of plays can you implement? A few gimmicky rounds, a few unexpected pushes to get you those rounds that you need. Just have to come through. Capson lined up and dealt with the double peek Even if he had got that first, it would have likely been his demise. And just like that, the A bomb site is open for business. Still a little bit hesitant about how to progress, but even still, they deal with the flank. They know that that is the only place that's really open for Brute. And this has just been rough. This is the definition of an endurance run. Because those first two maps were so back and forth, so close. Looks like the energy is gone from Brute. They've ran the sprint and went hard for a marathon. Maybe not quite so prepared. 12-2, and no weapons get saved over, so this is SMGs, no head armor on rifles, maybe I wouldn't be too surprised to see a shotgun thrown about. It's really up to the players. There's quite a few feasible options, but I don't know which of them is the right one in this circumstance. I agree with you to a point, Enhance. I think they're... Even when you're not as skilled as somebody, you can criticize them for certain things. Not simply saying, you're bad. Haha. You know? Players overpeak. Players make mistakes. They're... I think that criticism is warranted in instances where it makes sense, but not often people don't think that critically. They're just like... You're bad. Ah. It's just not the case. Good one-for-one exchange there from Brute. Again, this does mean that they are somewhat spread out on the defensive end, and still it's back and forth trades. Shaq jumping over the sightlines of that player in Library, and he's actually pushed out further. M&K brings it to the one-on-one. 3 kills for him so far in this round, and it could be a 4th. Max slowly approaching from the arches. The timing not quite there for either of these players to meet as of yet. M&K gambling, and it would have been a play instead towards short, but it's not planted for him. He has to take this fight. He gives his position away, the scope, that sound cue given up, and Max will strike. That's all he needed to know. Max will deliver on a 3rd round for Brute, but that is still a dominant performance from Rocketlaunchers. Really, it felt more so that it was gimmicky rounds or simply catching players off guard that got Brute those 3, but it could be enough. I struggle to see a world in which Rocketlaunchers let that demoralize them or suddenly fall flat on their backs. They're not going to make this easy for Brute. The comeback storyline is one that is so far away. But stranger things have happened. Just look at what Sossol's been doing for that Rocketlaunchers side. 21 kills in the half. Really just having a field day over towards Beat. And for now, Brute merely poke and probe. They've got utility. They can move towards this B site, and it is actually the weaker of the two options. 4 players in position located at A. Hoping for something a little bit more unorthodox from the Brute side, and oh, they're changing their plans. They're going towards what could be the meat grinder here for Rocketlaunchers, because Max is the only one with utility, but he's trying to sell the fake. It all depends on how confident these players are in their decision. Oh, Death gives up the angle, but Sossel stays and stands tall. First kill found by both Death, Sossel, Soaker, locks things out from the graveyard. He's the grave maker. And Max, he was supposed to sell the fake. And although it worked, it drew an additional rotation. It just wasn't enough. You can see it happen as well. They looked like they were going to execute towards B, and it would have been the right call. Unfortunately, the plan deviated, and Rocketlaunchers take yet another pistol round. Brute, SMGs, CZ, that's all they have, and they're making use of it, running fast towards the A bomb site. Deaths. Good for the first. M&K will compensate, trade one out, make sure that he's still a presence on this site. He's good for secondary frag as well, but Capson, all that's left, the Molotov prevents him from moving that much further, and he's too busy juggling guns in the site. Have enough time to shoot back at Sossel. I mean, this just has to be it, doesn't it? Sure, there's one more gun round left. One more guaranteed gun round for Brute. Well, I guess it just has to be the gun round. Because Shaq's not known for being able to hit 3-pointers, but that nade connected on 3 players and pretty much had them dead, because as soon as you start spraying with that MP9, it's done for. And yeah, Jats, that's certainly not ideal. They read into it perfectly, but this is it. Last chance saloon. 15-3, 12 rounds in a row. Show us what you've got, Brute. If you really think you're the best, prove it to us now. And, well, I mean, Soaker, that's just mean. He forces the issue. They do get punished, so it's still an equal affair. And coming into a 3-on-3, the retake is feasible for the Rocketlaunchers, and you can't see a mental state in which they don't go for this. They have 12 rounds to play with. They're suitably equipped. And they're in prime position to do so. Brute, can you hold on? Can you stay alive a little bit longer in this series? Give us that small glimmer of hope at a comeback. Good utility usage by the T side. Crazy, knocks 2 down. And Shaq realizes exactly what's happened. Knew immediately that the chances of winning the round were gone. And Brute, they pull it off. 15-4. But it is a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. This is our elimination match for Group A. Last one out. Or first one out, I suppose. From the group stage, Capson Trying to track these players down. He's found a kill that he needed. Jack weakened. And pushed back. Rocket launchers are playing it incredibly safe. They don't want to give them hope. Maybe they commit to that retake. And they're forced to save, but they're giving Brute the longest possible route to victory. The hardest one as well at that. Should Brute not chase these players down? Basically a full buy again in the following round. And should it just kind of play out in situations like this, where it is consistently 3 players kind of staying alive for the CT side? As they begin to rack up loss bonus, it's just going to be buy after buy after buy, and Brute just have to win every single one. Because there can be no more mistakes. Fellow commentator, Insomnia, in the chat. Rep the brand. You're NA though, so it's, you know, we're on different sides of the world. The question is, do you believe, chat? Because I don't. I really don't. I was trying to talk myself into saying yes, I do, but even I can't lie through my teeth like that. 10 in a row has to be a phenomenal effort. Somehow, some way they have to pull it off, and, well, I mean, they're finding the picks they need to, but they line up for deaths. It's still equal numbers. A 2-on-2, it's a triple from deaths that gives them this chance into the round. That could have been very one-sided for Brute. Pushing forward, and Sossel, he was popping off in the first half. He's forced in and above the hay bales, but those, well, they may be combustible. They're set ablaze, and they force him into an awkward fight, so Shaq is left alone. Creeping ever so slowly forward. They're doubled up on these boxes. Shaq thinks this might be a crossfire setup, but he overthinks it crazy. Seals the deal. 3 kills for him in that round, and this string of rounds, just, it keeps on creeping on in. I'm seeing some believes, I'm seeing some end this. Don't tug on my heartstrings. Play with my emotions. Rocket launchers on a weak pistol buy. Max has dealt so much damage. The spray transfer, it's a chaotic situation, but he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. He was in and amongst them. They didn't seem to really shoot at him. Well, it's fair to say that the momentum has shifted in favor of Brute. And I'm all the happier for it. I'd be happy to be proven wrong. Look at this man, dodging bullets like nobody's business. Jack was shooting at him, just none of it hit. Been having some fun just because it's been so apparent who we see as the victor here. The Brute are throwing a seed of doubt. Making us believe otherwise. Rocket launchers, first kill good towards the B site. Max there with the trade, and they get the secondary entry. It is collapse. An absolute collapse from the B site players. They choose the right site. And it's another call to save for rocket launchers. That seed is beginning to form into some semblance. Just a small little seedling. It's in the sprout. That all it takes. The momentum is here for Brute. Well, they may be like this chicken, calm, serene, just loving his life. I know it's so far to go. All it takes is one mistake. One outlandish play from players like Deaths, like Sossel, that have delivered on exactly that on their T side. As long as they can keep these problem players from having too much impact, becomes more and more feasible. Getting some psychological input. Concentration doesn't last that long. The comeback is now. Rockets win. First kill found by Shaq. Daxon caught alone and by surprise. That means a weapon can be subjected. Another one at that in the rocket launcher's favor. And, well, I think you may be right. Concentration maybe doesn't last that long. Sure, the comeback was creeping closer and closer. They're at a significant disadvantage. They know that the numbers are in favor of the CT side and somebody has to take the reins. Looking at players like Max and Crazy that have had so much impact in these previous rounds. Deaths, he swings on out and he gets both kills towards the end. Actually, all three from Deaths to deliver us the final round. I can't argue with your psychology. You seem to have that pretty much down to a T. I was right there with you in that I didn't really believe the comeback was going to be a reality, but it came out. It started to become more and more true. Anyway, that's us done. Our Christmas Day broadcast finished. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Of course, you're taking your own time out of your own Christmas Day or holidays. Doesn't have to be Christmas. Just to watch these games. Support the teams that you're either backing for betting reasons, whether you support them individually, whatever. From me, myself, my name's Yumi. You can follow me at Yumi TV. From myself, the broadcasting team at Starladder, everybody over at Starladder that's really been involved today. Thank you all for tuning in. We have more games tomorrow, and I hope you'll join us. Take care.